Welcome to the shadow frequency, where the veil between this world and the next grows thin, and the things that whisper in the dark are given voice. From the cryptic candlelit studios, deep in the Indiana forests, your host, Matt Wilson, and his spectral producer, Juniper Ravenwood, unearth the forbidden, the forgotten, and the fearsome. So, still your heart, dim the light, and listen closely. For once you tune into the shadow frequency, you may never tune out.
Okay, yeah, this drawer still doesn't like being opened. Let's see what we've got in here tonight. Oh, nope, not that. That's the photograph that keeps changing when you're not looking. Hard pass. Oh, wow. Okay, what is this mirror worm? Yeah, it's going back exactly where it was. And absolutely not the tape labeled voice that knows your name. That one stays buried. Ah, here we go. Episode 277, Doppelgängers, when the familiar isn't human.
That title alone already makes me feel uncomfortable.
As it should. Seeing someone you know in a place they shouldn't be, or worse, being seen by them.
Yeah. Tonight we're talking about those moments where reality blinks, where faces repeat, where the explanation feels thinner than the fear.
Folklore, omens, personal encounters, and the question nobody wants to ask, what if it's not you they're copying?
Turn the lights down, lock the doors. This is episode 277, Doppelgängers, when the familiar isn't human.
You are tuned to the shadow frequency, where every whisper tells a story from beyond the veil. Hosted by Matt Wilson, produced by Juniper Ravenwood, with Chris Beach. The darkness continues.
Welcome back to the shadow frequency, where we tune into the whispers that echo just beyond the veil of everyday life. Tonight, we're diving into something that might make you glance over your shoulder twice, or maybe even check the mirror a little longer. Imagine turning a corner in your own home, only to catch a glimpse of someone who looks exactly like your closest friend. Or worse, like you. But when you blink, they're gone, leaving only a chill in the air. These aren't ghosts in the classic sense, they're doppelgangers, shadowy doubles that slip into our world uninvited. Matt, you've got the details on this one. What kind of eerie echoes are we chasing tonight?
Oh, Juniper, you know how to set the stage for a spine tingler? Doppelgangers have been haunting humanity for centuries, popping up in the most ordinary places and turning the familiar into something profoundly unsettling.
Right.
We'll explore ancient folklore, chilling global sightings, and those omens that make you wonder if reality just glitched. Stick around, this might make you question every reflection you see.
I'm already feeling that uneasy pull. All right, listeners, settle in as Matt opens the file on these mysterious doubles.
Thanks for digging into the file cabinet and pulling this one out, Juniper. It's got that perfect mix of ancient mystery and modern creepiness that keeps us all up at night. All right, let's crack this open and step into the world of doppelgangers. Picture this. You're walking down a quiet street in the middle of the day, the sun filtering through the trees, everything feeling perfectly normal. Then, out of the corner of your eye, you spot them. Someone who looks just like your best friend. Same height, same stride, even wearing that jacket you remember from last week. You call out their name, quicken your pace to catch up. But when you round the corner, they're gone, vanished like smoke. And moments later, your phone buzzes. It's that very friend, calling you from across town, wondering why you're thinking of them right now. That's the classic doppelganger encounter, folks. Not a hallucination, not a trick of the light, but something that feels like an echo from another reality slipping into ours. These doubles have been part of human lore for thousands of years, weaving through cultures like threads in a dark tapestry. The term doppelganger comes from German folklore, meaning double walker, a spectral twin that mirrors a living person, often seen from behind or at a distance, never quite facing you directly. In ancient Egypt, they spoke of the Ka, a tangible spirit double that could appear as an omen, lingering in the shadows of pyramids and temples. Over in Ireland, it's the Fetch, a ghostly apparition of someone you know, sometimes heralding tragedy. Norse legends tell of the Verdoger, where you hear or see a person arriving before they actually do. Footsteps on the stairs, a door creaking open, only to find the real person shows up minutes later. Across the globe, from Asian tales of shape-shifting spirits to Native American stories of shadow selves, doppelgangers transcend borders, always carrying that same unsettling vibe. They're here, but they shouldn't be. And the sightings? They're not confined to dusty old myths. People report them in the most mundane settings. Hospital corridors where a nurse sees a patient's double wandering the halls, only for the real patient to be sound asleep in their room. Airports, those liminal spaces where time feels stretched thin. Travelers spot family members waving from afar, but when they approach, the figure dissolves into the crowd. Military bases aren't immune either. Soldiers have shared accounts of seeing comrades in the field, barking orders or standing sentry, when the real person is miles away at base camp. One chilling report from a late-night highway, a driver pulls over to help what looks like their spouse's car broken down on the shoulder, complete with the familiar license plate. But as they get closer, the car and the figure inside fades into the darkness, leaving only tire tracks that lead nowhere. What makes these encounters so bone-chilling is their silence, their emotionless stare. If you do catch a glimpse of the face, they don't speak, they don't react, they just exist for a moment, mimicking the real thing with eerie precision. And in many traditions, they're more than curiosities. They're dark omens. Seeing your own doppelganger? That's the worst. Folklore warns it's a sign of impending doom, illness creeping in, or death knocking at the door. Historical figures weren't spared. Percy Shelley, the poet, saw his double on a beach in Italy pointing silently out to sea. Days later, he drowned in a boating accident. Queen Elizabeth I reportedly glimpsed her own pale, lifeless double lying on her bed, a vision that preceded her death by mere days. Even Abraham Lincoln recounted seeing a double reflection in his mirror, one vibrant, the other ghostly pale, interpreting it as a foreshadowing of his fate. These aren't isolated tales. They're threads connecting us to something deeper, something that suggests our world isn't as solid as it seems. Imagine the fracture in reality that allows these doubles to appear, slipping through cracks in time, or perhaps entities from parallel dimensions wearing our faces like masks. In hospitals where life and death dance so closely, doppelgangers are spotted more frequently, often around patients on the brink. One account from a nurse in a modern ER, she saw a doctor's double rushing down the hall toward a code blue, lab coat flapping, stethoscope swinging, but the real doctor was in surgery upstairs. Moments later, the patient flatlined. Coincidence? Or a harbinger stepping in from the shadows? And let's not forget the multi-witness events where entire groups see the same double at once. Take the case of a 19th century schoolteacher in Latvia. Her students watched in horror as her doppelganger appeared beside her at the blackboard, mimicking her every move without chalk in hand. It happened again in the dining hall. She was eating at the table, her double sitting motionless nearby. 42 girls saw it, frozen in terror as the double faded away. No explanation, just a lingering dread that something had pierced the veil. These stories pull you in, don't they? They make you wonder about every familiar face you see in a crowd, every reflection that seems just a tad off. Doppelgangers remind us that the line between the real and the unreal is thinner than we'd like to believe. And once you've seen one, that door in your mind stays cracked open forever. Phew, those tales have a way of sticking with you. like a shadow that doesn't quite match your steps. What do you make of it so far, Juniper?
It's got me rethinking every time I thought I saw someone I know out of the corner of my eye. Pure unease. Can't wait to hear the deeper dive.
Coming right up after the break, we'll dig into the darker implications and share some personal brushes with these doubles. Back to you, Juniper.
Wow, listeners, if that first half didn't send a shiver down your spine, check your pulse. You might have a double taking over. Matt's got us all on edge with these shadowy mimics, and there's more to come, including some thoughts on whether these are just mind tricks or something stepping in from the other side. What are you thinking right now? Drop us a line if you've had your own encounter. For now, let's hand it over to Chris for a quick word.
You got it, Juniper. If you're loving the Shadow Frequency, please like and subscribe and follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and all major podcast directories. Visit our website at shadowfrequencypodcast.com to catch all our episodes. Leave a voicemail telling us where you're listening from. We might feature it in our next episode. Check out our Shadow blog for companion articles to our episodes, grab some cool swag from our store, or support us by buying us a coffee. Now let's get back over to Juniper for a dive into the mailbag, where we share your thoughts and stories. Back to you, Juniper.
Thanks, Chris. It's time to fire up the spectral cosmic message materializer. Let's flip the switches. Let's see what ethereal whispers it pulls from the void. Here's a flickering missive emerging from the haze.
Message retrieved from the
Let's
void.
crack it open and uncover the secrets our listener has shared. All right, this one's got that perfect late-night vibe, creepy and companionable all at once. It's from Dan in Ohio. Says, I figured I'd finally write in after listening for so long. My name's Dan, and I'm writing from Ohio. I work as a trucking dispatcher, mostly evening and overnight shifts, and the shadow frequency has become my go-to during the quieter stretches when the phones stop ringing and the roads go dark. I usually listen during my shift, sitting in the dispatch office with the lights low, watching the GPS screens and waiting for the next call to come in. There's something about the way you tell these stories that fits perfectly in those in-between hours when everything feels just a little off. It keeps me alert and sometimes make me double-check the hallway behind me. I listen on Spotify, and I'm especially hooked on the hauntings, UFO cases, and the episodes that drift into conspiracy territory. Anything that makes you question what's really going on behind the scenes is right up my alley. The deeper and creepier, the better. Just wanted to say thanks for keeping me company during those long, quiet nights. You guys make the time pass faster, even if you also make the shadows feel a little closer. Keep the static rolling, Dan. Listen from the dispatch desk. Dan, that paints such a vivid picture, sitting there in the dim glow of those screens, our stories filling the silence while the world outside feels just a touch more mysterious. Love that you're diving into the hauntings and conspiracies. We'll keep cranking out the creepy for those overnight shifts, and hey, next time you glance down that hallway, wave if you see a double. As always, if you got a story, question, or just want to say hi, shoot us an email at shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. We love hearing from you. All right, Matt, back to you for the second half. Let's see what else these doppelgangers are hiding.
You are tuned to the Shadow Frequency, where every whisper tells a story from beyond the veil. The darkness continues.
Thanks, Juniper. That mailbag always brings a smile, even when the topics are this eerie. Dan, appreciate you tuning in from the dispatch desk. Sounds like the perfect setting for our kind of tales. All right, let's pick up where we left off and plunge deeper into the doppelganger enigma. We've covered the classics and the global whispers, but now let's talk about what happens when these doubles get personal, when they wear the faces of those closest to us, or even our own, and leaves us questioning the fabric of identity itself. In many accounts, doppelgangers aren't content with fleeting glimpses. They linger just long enough to disrupt, to sow seeds of doubt. Take those hospital sightings we touched on, places where emotions run high and the veil feels thinnest. Nurses and patients alike report seeing doubles of doctors or loved ones pacing the halls, sometimes even entering rooms silently before vanishing. One story from a modern ICU. A family gathered around a dying relative spots the patient's double standing at the foot of the bed, expressionless, as if observing the scene. When they blink, it's gone, but the patient passes moments later, as if the double had come to escort them away. Is it a spirit guide in disguise, or an entity feeding on the energy of transition? Digging into ancient warnings, the omens grow darker. In German folklore, if your doppelganger casts no shadow or reflection, it's a sure sign of malevolent intent, perhaps a demon trying to steal your essence. Asian traditions speak of hungry ghosts that mimic the living to draw them into the underworld. And in some Native American lore, these shadow selves are fragments of the soul that have wandered off, luring the original back into danger. Historical records are rife with rulers and artists encountering their doubles at pivotal moments. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, the famed writer, saw his own double riding toward him on a path, dressed in clothes that he himself would wear years later. A time slip? A premonition? It left him shaken, pondering the loops in fate. But what about when multiple eyes confirm the impossible? Beyond Emily Saji, there are contemporary group sightings that defy dismissal. In a military encounter during World War II, a squad saw their commander's double giving contradictory orders in the trenches, leading them toward enemy lines. They hesitated, and the real commander appeared, averting disaster. Was it a paranormal sabotage, or a fracture in the chaos of war allowing something else to slip through? Airports and highways seem hotspots too, liminal zones where realities might overlap. A traveler in Tokyo spots their sibling in the terminal. Waves. Approaches, only for the figure to melt into the crowd. Back home, the sibling was asleep, dreaming of travel. These aren't just stories, they're experiences that echo across forums and witness reports, suggesting doppelgangers thrive in the in-between. Now, I know we've been leaning into the mystery, but let's chew on something a bit more grounded for a moment, because not everything that goes bump in the night is from beyond. Psychologists point to phenomena like autoscopic hallucinations, where stress, grief, or neurological glitches like migraines cause the brain to project a double of yourself or others. They say it's the mind coping, a misfire in perception that feels all too real. But here's where it gets tricky. How do you explain when groups see the same thing, or when the double predicts events? That rational lens cracks a bit there, doesn't it? Still, it's worth considering. Maybe some doppelgangers are inner shadows manifesting outward. Shifting back to the eerie, let's share some personal brushes to make this hit home. Juniper, remember that time we were prepping for an episode late at night in the studio? I swear I saw you walking down the hall toward the booth, coffee in hand, same hair, same hoodie. I called out. But when I stepped out, you were actually in the control room behind me, asking what I was yelling about. Gave me chills. Felt like the air shifted, like something borrowed your form for a second. And I've had my own. Driving down the street after my dad had passed away, I saw him walking along the sidewalk, but then he was gone. These moments linger, don't they? They make you wonder if doppelgangers are echoes of strong emotions, projections from loved ones, or entities testing the waters of our world. Ultimately, these encounters leave us with more questions than closures. If something can wear a familiar face so perfectly, how do we trust what we see? Reality stutters, produces these echoes, then snaps back. But the doubt remains. Some doors, once cracked, don't fully close, and doppelgangers are the creak that reminds us of that. There you have it, doubles that defy explanation, omens that chill the soul. Juniper, any final shivers from this one?
Absolutely. That personal story you shared gave me goosebumps all over again. Skeptical side says coincidence, but the creepy factor wins out.
Glad it hit home. Wrapping up, remember, keep an eye on those reflections, folks. Over to you, Juniper.
What a ride tonight on Shadow Frequency, diving into doppelgangers, those unsettling doubles that make us question every glance and shadow. From ancient omens to modern mysteries, it's clear these phenomena have a grip on our imaginations, and maybe more. Thanks for tuning in and letting us keep you company in the dark. If you've got your own story or just want to chime in, drop us a line at shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. And don't forget to check out our website, shadowfrequencypodcast.com, for episodes, merch, our blog, and more. You can follow us on all the usual social haunts and podcast directories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. That helps us out a lot. Join us next time for another dive into the unknown. You won't want to miss it. Matt, you want to say goodnight?
Good night, everyone. Sleep tight. And if you see double, don't follow.
Sweet dreams, or whatever passes for them after this. Until next time, keep the frequency tuned to the shadows.
This episode was conjured with a solemn vow to explore the unexplained while remaining bound to the truths that have been unearthed. All interpretations are speculative and offered only for your enlightenment and your entertainment.